Hey friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talk Stuff. I'm your host, the author David Applegate, author of the books The Boyhood Arcade, Power Games, Into the Housebound, and The Erotic Tales from the Empire. Part 1 available now. Thank you to all those who support the channel, and if you'd like to support the channel, buy my books, buy my merch, and of course join my Patreon. All my links are in the link tree. Scan the QR code, or wait till the end of the show for the links. Alright, so as you know, the internet is now heavily censored. First Google and Facebook. Now, they're not the only ones who censor the internet. You have Visa and MasterCard, who decide what products you can buy even if they're legal. However, this censorship is not solely driven by Visa and MasterCard. Now, there's some evidence suggests that game censorship is leading to an increased amount of piracy. And often the games that are pirated are those that are heavily censored, or titles that disappear from platforms due to pressure from groups or payment processors. Particularly, now this is the weird part, a lot of your older Mario and Pokemon games. Now, Visa and MasterCard are under attack, and they're being overwhelmed by a furious mass campaign of emails and phone calls by gamers who are rightfully so pissed off that their legal adult content is being censored by a handful of shrews who are unelected and unaccountable and often motivated financially to ban you. The more they ban, the more fundraising they get, and what most people don't understand is the fundraising is coming through third parties from countries such as Saudi Arabia, England, and China. That's why the petition is so important, because eventually this will go to US Congress to get a law passed to shut down the Butthole Collective. Now, more are needed. Now, Japanese censorship was driven by the enforcement arm of UK online safety regulators. Visa says it was to protect their brand. So happens that Keir Starmer and others were getting their marching orders from Saudi Arabia. And the Crown Prince particularly pushing the UK to transform its economy to be more in line with Islamic values. So it's not just communist China, it's fascist Saudi Arabia. And, of course, socialist UK. So, these payment giants, they ain't capitalists. They're activists. And activists should be illegal. It's bullying. It's not addressing Congress. They're not addressing grievances. They're not putting things to the vote. No, there's no debate. They decide what you can and can't do, and they pressure governments to enact, falsely claiming they're protecting children. Now, they're not just going after Japanese video games, but predominantly it is Japanese video games. And who, other than China and Saudi Arabia, want to humiliate Japan Remember, Saudi wanted to enter the gaming market. They found themselves facing so much competition. So what do? They want to remove their competition. Remember, communism is cancer. Islam is cancer. But the people who get in first think, we will be on top. We will be powerful. We get to put the boot on your neck. And that's weak people like Keir Starmer who give in to Saudi Arabia because they do not care about human rights. Keir Starmer doesn't care about human rights. Keir Starmer cares about Keir Starmer. Xi Jinping cares about Xi Jinping. These aren't perceived injustices, or people are not just disappointed with the censored versions. They don't have an uncensored version or a censored version. They lose accounts. Now, this is what stopped. Isn't it amazing? It comes out. This censorship comes hot on the heels of Stop Killing Games. Why? Because the gaming companies were losing. Stop Killing Games was gathering momentum. This is all to shut down the preservation of video games so that they can keep selling you the next Pokemon, which is just the Pokemon from 5 years ago. Well, yesterday, for all you know. They recycle all these games. And they shut down competition through censorship or bitterly. I actually made a video game called Balltastic. Okay, I was commissioned to do a simple child's game, bat and ball game, to show off that I could lead a game studio and put together a game studio. And if I was successful at it, I would get funding. Now, they marketed the game at $19.95. The publication of this was about $10. But the publisher was getting, out of the $9.95, everybody was getting a huge cut, and I got 5 cents out of $20 sales. And that's when video games were $20. The game wasn't even meant to be marketed. It was meant to be a demonstration of putting a team together and getting a game done on time and on budget. This is the problem, you know. And when it came to quality testing, they didn't do any quality testing and didn't give us feedback until after the game was released. And then they wanted us to patch it. And this was the beginning of the end for my short-lived video game career. But this is what they do. They destroy competition and look around. Look how many video game companies are acquired and shut down. But they're not just shut down, they're first destroyed by giving them what seems at first to be a reasonable project, but then driving them into the ground with costs, poor returns on investment, and don't say, oh bro, you should have read the contract. When they own you, there is no contract. Okay? When they own your company, there is no contract. They own you. They own your intellectual property. And now these activists are insidiously controlling what can and can't be sold. So billions of dollars in investment is lost. Tens of thousands more people out of work who will never get a job because they're not just censoring the games, they're completely removing a segment of the marketplace. And it's not just adult games with titties. It's horror games, and they're coming for your shooters next. But because the shooter crowd is just so narrow-focused and so ignorant, I'm sorry, but so many people deliberately ignorant of what's going on in the world. Until it affects them, they don't care. And then they expect you to pick up your life, upheave everything, just to protect their Call of Duties. But it's too late. The video game industry's in collapse. Because they didn't take the time to head off the problem before it got out of control. No, instead they said, yeah, go censor all these games on Patreon. Oh, go censor all these books on Patreon. Go shut down all these Gooner games. It doesn't affect us on Call of Duty. Well, now it will. Because they're not just coming for horror games. They want all shooters shut down because they say they encourage violence. And you think, nah, didn't we have this with Joe Lieberman? It doesn't matter to them. The Joe Liebermans, ages ago, those laws can be reintroduced now and debated all over again because they keep saying new information. And they keep claiming they have rights, but they're taking away your rights. Japan is just a test case to see how dangerous the UN, controlled by BRICS, can reach into the Western economies and attack one of our most fundamental tools, and is entertainment. Because entertainment is what allows Islam and communism to propagandize, to moralize, and control people. Because they keep saying it's for your own good. Yet every fibre is telling you you're not allowed to fight back because the left have taken away your right to self-defense. So Visa can claim they're protecting their brand, but you can't start a Visa because the financial market's highly regulated because of the scam, Great Depression, and all the other deliberate attacks on the financial system in order to squeeze out the competition, to make sure that the financial system's in the hands of the corrupt few. And that you're warned time and time again to take the money out of politics, and you didn't. Instead, you doubled down on it saying, no, bro, it's the only way we can fight the establishment. Bro, Labour Party is the establishment. Democrats are the establishment. And Saudi Arabia has got their boot on the neck of England, thanks to the cowards who only care that they num on taxpayer money to pay for their degenerate lifestyles with free health care because they don't want to suffer the consequences of their poor choices in life. But it ain't free. It comes at your expense. You, the working class, are slaves to the degenerate class. And until you figure that out for yourself, I don't think, no matter what I say, it just go in one ear and out the other. But I'm hoping this will stick with enough people, that enough people will rise up, share the video, like, share and subscribe, get the news out there, get more signatures onto this petition. We need far more eyeballs than this. We need to see this. It ain't my petition, but we need to see this 1.7, 2 million. We need to see millions worldwide cracking down on Keir Starmer and others who are trying to control our lives. Because they're manipulating the market to enrich themselves, directly and indirectly. You can support the channel on Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. All my links are in the link tree, description below, or in my profile. Thank you for listening. I'll see you all in the next video, and bye for now.